Hi everyone, welcome back. Don't worry, Sultan's not been on the Bandit. I am attempting, keyword, to do the fork seals because this bike's due, or it needs to go up for sale at some point, and it's due an MOT. I've talked to them about a back tyre. They're going to throw a rear good back tyre on it. Now this tyre has plenty tread, guys, but it slips. It's very, I think it's just gone off. I think the rubber's just bad. It must be 10 years old maybe. Anyway, I'm no good with fork seals. I'm going to make that clear. I can do upside down, no problem, because you just slide them out. The biggest issue with upright fork seals is the nut that you find once you've taken this bar out. There's a nut in there that holds the internals together on the fork stanchion. That's the biggest issue. You can gun it off. I have got a gun it off while it's on the bike now. So you'd undo these, slide the bar out, and then you shoot it with the gun, and that will get the nut off. There's no problem there. Getting the nut back on then becomes an issue. It's a right pain. I've done it before. It leaks like hell afterwards if you don't get it in straight. If you ruin the threads, it's ruined, and so on. So my attempt today, and I say attempt because I've done it once before, but it's not well known. My attempt is to bring the seal up and out that way. Currently I've undone the top caps. I've loosened them while on the bike. That just makes sense because there's a clamp. So they're loose, but I don't want them fully because at the moment I'm going to be working within this range here. I'm going to put 2 car axle stands under each side of the bodywork, and then I'm going to loosen up the front wheel and drop the front wheel and get it out the way. I'm then going to drop 1 fork stanchion at a time and work on it. My plan is to use a drill and drill down through the old, take off the retaining clip, drill down through the old seal really gently, and then put a puller in and pull it out. It's probably not going to be that easy, but that's the plan. Then very simple, the new seal which I've got slides down, shh, like that. The old seal slides down on top, shh. And then you put something on the old seal to smack it down. Yeah, straightforward enough. Seems it. If I can't get the new fork seal seated, then Danny has the seating tool, a mate of mine. If he's around in London, which he never is, I can borrow that because he's got the slide hammer and the tool. But I just want to see if I can do it using basic tools. What I've got, really, you'd have some sort of pole like this diameter, and you'd slide it down and you'd tap it like that and it would seat, or even a PVC, a plastic pole, or obviously a proper seal seater which Danny's got, which I might go and grab. But otherwise, let's see what we can do without the proper tools. This could be an interesting video, and yeah, let's get them done. For now, let's think about what I'm going to do. I'm going to pop off the front wheel. That's going to come off. I'm going to jack the bike, put the bike on the axle stand so it's sitting back, so the back wheel's on the floor, and loosen up all of the bolts on the yoke, and then drop 1 fork at a time. So I'm going to come back to you in a minute. I should have a front wheel off, and I should have one of the stanchions ready to be slid out. So there you go, guys. We've got 2 axle stands on each side, and the jack's not holding the exhaust. Don't worry about that. I didn't jack on the exhaust. I've just shoved it under there in case it fell. So it hasn't dented the exhaust now because I haven't used it. But if it fell, it probably would. Yeah. Not such a great plan. Everything's kind of done so far. I'm going to drop the calipers. I forgot about them. I'll drop the calipers. I'll just let them hang. They're fine. And then these 2 bolts here. This one here. One of these should slide out. And then one at a time I'm going to look at what we're doing with them. So let's get the calipers off and hanging, and let's get one of the shocks out and look at what we're working with. Okay guys, one fork out. You see this lovely shine here? It's not actually meant to be there. it's just leaking. Look, it's leaking like hell. So let me get on. I'll get this cap off. That bit's easy. That's just, you just put a screwdriver on it, work it up, no problems. Then you're down at your seal. I will show you the clip that we need to remove before we do anything else. We remove that clip, and then I am going down the plan I said, where I'm going to drill through as gentle as I can, because we don't want to wreck anything, and then try and use a puller tool to pull the seal out. So let's see how that goes. Yes. So here's the clip, guys. See in there, right? You see, look, I'll rotate it away. See that little bump on the left there, and there's one at the bottom there. There's a clip in there, a retaining clip, to help hold the seal in place. Just get a flathead under that, pop it out, take your time, and it'll kind of spring up and come out. That's then where we need to think about how I'm going to drill this out. So gently. I can't be anywhere near the stanchion itself, this bit, and I don't want to be on the outside, because you don't want to ruin the seats at all. So probably straight down through the middle, really gently, and then put a pulling tool underneath. I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to give it a shot. So I'm popping that pin out, and then I'm going to be trying to get the fork seal off as gently as I can. So guys, the seal is out. What I did, I drilled the hole, and then I used the puller tool. You can see it there, it's all bent up. It just wasn't strong enough. I put a screw in by hand, like that, and just gently screwed it down, and it pulled it up. Lovely. Get a rag down here, get it cleaned out, ready for the new seal. And then you simply slide the new seal down. And then you've got to think about how you drive it without ruining it, basically. So, yep, I'm going to clean it out, drop the new seal in. Seal's there on camera, by the way. And see if I can drive it somehow. I'll let you guys know. I got the old seal out quite easily using that method there with the screw. So if this is the last kind of issue and you guys have a seal driver, or you buy one, then you should be able to do this every time. I don't see any reason why not. So guys, there are ways of doing this part, yeah? I've used some 2-stroke oil on the inside and outside, and I've slid it on. People get very worried about little nicks and dings ruining it, and that is a worry. This is very smooth, there's nothing in the way. Some people use milk bottles in there, and they slide it down on the milk bottle. I've done this a few times before, not loads, 3 or 4. I've always just slid it down like this with some 2-stroke oil, and then driven it in. So I don't see any issue, but people will complain about this. Get your 2-stroke oil on there, slide it down nice and gently, get it as seated as possible, and then I'm going to be using the old seal, that one without the screw obviously, to help seat the new one. Now you'll know it's seated when it's all the way at the bottom and you can get the retaining clip back in. It does take a bit of a knock. What you shouldn't do is hammer on one side, then the other, then the other, then the other. Using the old seal will help a little bit because it takes the pressure off this one. But yeah, ideally you have something big enough that goes down, you know, with the same amount of pressure all around, and you drive it. So I'm going to try and get this seated and try and get the retaining clip back in. If that works, I'm going to be extremely pleased, and then look at draining the oil. That's what I need to do. I need to drain the oil. So I'll probably be tipping it out from the top, and then I'm going to be topping it up. Well, I'm going to be replacing it with the new oil that I've got. Let me see if this works, guys. I have no idea now. This is the tough part. You can get it there, no problem. This is the tough part now, getting it seated without ruining it. Guys, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I put the second seal on top, and I gave very gentle taps with the Phillips and the screwdriver. Very, very gentle, and I kept moving round in a circle, and it seated lovely. I've tested it for sealing, and obviously there's a bit of two-stroke on there. Once that goes, it seems to be sealing beautifully. Now I can see the retaining clip line in there. That means it's seated. I've got to put that clip back in. It's down there on the floor. This fork can go straight back on the bike and is done. If you've got a good cleaning solution, throw it on now while the fork's off, because you can get in all the nooks and crannies in there. I might be painting this fork black at some point, I'm not sure yet. And then move on to the next fork. And I might have an interesting video for you later. I'm looking at a outboard engine, a speedboat engine with John. But let me get this clip in, let me get the top cap back on. This is ready to go back on the bike. That's brilliant, that was quick, it took about 45 minutes. So apologies about the lack of filming, guys. It's good, it's all back together. I'm just buttoning it all up, the seals are working perfectly. Absolutely the quickest and easiest solution. There's the old fork fluid. Bad. I put brand new fluid in, the exact amount, the right amount in the book. So it's all done and good to go. Soon I'm going to be popping down, we're going to be looking at a motorboat engine. I'm trying to help out a local. So guys, honestly, hour's job that was, so quick and easy. I was fearful of fork seals, I have to be honest. I even said to Nat last time, so difficult. Nat, I'd love your opinion on what I just did. I'd love to know your thoughts. I know in the past that mechanics and, you know, home mechanics like us have been quite against that method. I'm not really sure why. I think it's just because it isn't the way it's said to be done in the books. But for me, in 1 hour, I've got 2 fork seals completely done, and new fork oil in this bike, and it's buttoned up. So I don't see why it's not okay. Yeah, all of you, give me your thoughts in the comments. This bike is going to be for sale with a year's MOT for around $850, guys. Remember, this bike is ultra low emissions free for when all that comes into London properly. And I think there's a low emission site in Birmingham, maybe Manchester, so well worth getting a bike that's got this, and it's pretty cheap. So anyone interested in this Bandit, I promise you, it runs and rides beautifully. It will take you all over the country. If you're really picky, change the oil, change the chain and sprocket, change the rear tyre, but for now it's you know, it's okay.
It needs doing. What, surprisingly, I did get up to Kent and back on this moped still.
Yeah, of course you did. It just needs a tyre. Alright guys, check it out. This is a bike that I had but didn't do any work to when I first bought it. It was in quite good nick until I gave it to Rabjab's friend. Warren's just back from the mechanic. You have actually seen this bike on my channel because we changed that front caliper, which we didn't need to take the wheel off for. Basically, the mechanics quoted him 800 quid roughly to get this through an MOT, which has really wound me up. They apparently tried to get the front wheel off, and they could not get the front wheel off. And I've said to Warren now, I'm going to pop this front wheel off out of curiosity. They told him they had to cut the forks. Now, I can see they didn't spray any WD-40. That pisses me off, guys. That they can't say that they can't get this wheel off when they haven't sprayed a touch of WD-40. And then I assume, even if this nut comes off, I assume the pin is what they're talking about, and the pin don't come out. So me and John have said we're gonna see if they're taking the mick, and we're gonna try and take this wheel off. Simple as that. I'll keep you updated. Alright guys, so to be fair to the professional mechanics, one of our bits did snap on here. But then we used a simple spanner, and I stood on it and bounced a little bit, and we got the nut undone. So the actual nut has come off, that's great. And the spindle is quite caked. So we got a little hammer, and we're just going to give it a tap, aren't we? Yeah? Here, hold the camera, it's on. Face it towards me in the bike.
Yeah.
I'm just going to give it a little love tap, just with the little hammer. You're not concerned, are you? It's your bike.
This is his baby.
There you go.
You come out, Charlie.
Well, yeah, that's the point. We just got to kind of break it. It's obviously just crudded in there a bit. You just got to break it up. It's not overly difficult.
You coming undone?
Yeah, it came out untouched there, John, with the little hammer. I mean, professional mechanic don't use these tools, so.
Oh no, that's for your watchmakers, isn't it?
The professional mechanic just want money, that's it, done quickly.
There you go. I mean, the pin's moving, isn't it? And now, with a bit of WD-40 on both sides, that pin will pop out in a minute. So guys, there you go, we're good to go. That pin is now loose. It turns now, look, there you go. And we can pull the wheel out. I did say I was going to hold the wheel in my hands for the photo for you guys. So I might just pop it all the way out. So guys, welcome to Motorboat Rescuer. Yes, so we're looking at, this is a local charity. We're looking at this engine. We thought the dog clutch had gone. Look, it's written here, dog clutch, which is down in there. But actually, when we opened it up, we found that it just needs a bit of a service. The old grease has just gone a bit cruddy. And the bolt here holding on the air filter and the carb to the manifold was completely loose and rattling. And then the one on the inside is also loose. I can see that right now. So we need to nip that back up, maybe put a touch of thread lock if we have any on it. And then I think this is a good serviced engine that's back. So we thought we were going to have to drop the whole bottom end to get to the dog clutch, which is in here. Luckily, we opened it up and we found the issue at the top. Always worth looking for the simple things, guys. This is the same as a bike. This is an air filter. This is a carburetor. This is an outlet manifold. It goes into an exhaust. One bolt falling out and having that play and this play and that had dropped like that, the gasket, is what causes the problem. So guys, I'm not going to pretend I know what I'm talking about, but it is doing exactly what it should be. It's circulating water for cooling. So originally this bolt had came out, so I don't know what was going on there. And then secondly, we think we had an issue where it wasn't really engaging into reverse, and this point was getting kind of sticky and jumpy. Now it does that anyway. If you watch, it has a little bit of a moment. Oh, it didn't. Yeah. So I think it just kind of, it needed just neatening up and adjusting, because the actual mechanism goes all the way up here, and then all the way, and then it has to go from there all the way along to here, ultimately on here. And actually, it happened first when it was upright. See that little jump? And it seems to have a bit more. Yeah, I wonder if we put a tiny bit more pressure on the wire when this is up or something, and one of the adjustments. But basically it's running well, guys, and it's it saves the place a lot of money at the moment, for now.